G'day everyone. Welcome. Wednesday night, the first of April, April Fool's Day. Karen, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Everyone, the lady on screen at the moment is Karen from Hope in a Suitcase in Townsville, and Rachel's the other one that hopefully joining us a bit later. And I said to Rach last night, she's got a young boy and has to get him down to bed and all that. So Rachel's going to join in when she can, so we can still have a chat with Karen in the meantime. Anyway, hope you're all well. Karen, I hope you were inspired by Albo's speech at 6 o'clock tonight. Did you watch it?
It was a bit of nothingness, wasn't it, really?
It was. I was waiting for remember when the COVID thing was on and Scott Morrison addressed the nation, and it was like, it was big.
Yeah.
It was big news, and here's Rach coming in now. Tonight was just a real nothing, wasn't it? G'day,
really
Rachel.
was.
How are you?
Hello.
Hello. We're already live, mate. We went live about 30 seconds ago. We thought, you're probably putting the young one down. So,
Yep.
And the other lady on the screen here is Rachael from Newcastle.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us tonight.
That's good. Thanks for tuning in. And we're going to get the girls to introduce themselves soon, everyone, and so you know a bit about their background and all that type. And then we'll talk about Hope in a Suitcase. And for anyone out there, I'm sure most of you already know what Hope in a Suitcase is about. It's a wonderful charity that helps foster kids for when they go out to their foster homes, and that they go out with a little bag of belongings, and we'll talk all about that soon. And the lady at the bottom of your screen, everyone, is the lady who got Hope in a Suitcase up and running here in Australia. So we'll talk all about that soon, Rach, and you can tell us about the journey and what inspired you to want to get Hope in a Suitcase. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a Hope in a Suitcase in the USA, is there?
Yes, there is. Yeah, I actually didn't know about it. Like when I was trying to find the name of my charity and everything, it wasn't when you're searching for names that you can use and that are copyrighted and stuff. It wasn't there, and it wasn't until a little while after I'd started that I found out that there was another one. And so I reached out to them straight away because I was kind of excited, thinking, that's awesome that there's other people out in there in the world thinking of the same thing and having the same passion. But they weren't really interested in chatting. But I thought it was worth reaching out and just thinking, I just thought, it's beautiful to see other people having similar visions. And I thought it was so weird that the names were pretty much identical. But yeah, they weren't really interested in chatting to someone from Australia. So.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shame. The only reason I knew that is I think years ago when we did a big charity drive for Hope in a Suitcase, I put something up on Facebook, and I think I used the logo from
Yeah.
I don't know if it was you, Rach, or Karen. You might have. You said, that's the American one that you've used, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I knew there was a Hope in a Suitcase in the USA. So, yeah, well, there you go. Got 73 watching at the moment, which is not too bad for a Wednesday night. Rach, we're just talking about, Karen, whether you're inspired by Albo's speech at 6 o'clock tonight. You're probably busy doing other stuff, but I was a bit of a non-event. So anyway, we'll get straight in. Yeah, so nothing really big come out of it, but we'll talk about that Sunday morning, everyone, in the chat room. I usually do a Sunday morning live feed, and we talk about all sorts of stuff, the footy and just general chit-chat that everyone loves to get in the chat room and have a chat about all sorts of stuff, footy scores and the weather. And speaking of the weather, Karen, we got another cyclone heading in towards
I know.
How many? There's 37 tropical lows this year so far in Northern Australia. That is unbelievable. I'll never remember having that many tropical lows hovering around. And now they reckon this one, if you follow windy.com and then you watch it spin up over the day, she's heading straight for Innisfail. I don't know if it will, but it looks like it's going to be a Category 4 they're talking.
It does look big.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad one if it does come all the way in. So you're lucky down there, Rach. You don't have to worry about cyclones and all that type of stuff down there.
We're just flooding.
Just flooding, yeah.
Yeah, we're not looking forward to the flooding season. So it's been a bit crazy the last couple of years. So
I know
fingers crossed this year it's not as bad.
Bad weather everywhere, floods.
Yeah.
Have you always been in Newcastle, Rachel, or did you move there?
Yeah, always in Port Stephens, Newcastle. I was originally born in Queensland, though. I was born in Kingaroy, so I'm an original Queenslander.
So you're a Maroon supporter.
Yeah.
I like you even more now if you're a Maroon supporter. We've actually got a guy in the chat room at the moment that lives in Singapore. Saw Adventures. Steve and Annie Fuller are from Kingaroy. So there you go, ex-Kingaroy girl out in Joe Biel Peterson country. I don't know if Joe was around in your days. I'm not sure how old you are, but Joe was the Premier of Queensland back in the day and was a famous, he was from Kingaroy and was the Premier of Queensland for a very, very long time. And his wife, Flo Bielke Peterson, was famous for her pumpkin scones out there in Kingaroy.
My actual favourite.
There you go. So anyway, so what we might do, ladies, is get you to introduce yourselves to the chat room without going too deep into your personal life. Just tell us what you want us to know. But I really want to know just a bit of your background, and then we'll lead into what inspired you ladies to want to get involved with Hope in a Suitcase. Rach, you're the founder of Hope in a Suitcase, so we might let you head off first if you want and tell us all a bit about your story.
So hi everyone, I'm Rachael. I'm the founder of Hope in a Suitcase Australia. So I am 37, a single full-time carer, full-time foster mum to a little one that I've had since newborn. And so that keeps me very busy, as well as running the charity nationally. So that keeps me very busy with not very much free time, but it's my passion. So that's what I love. Pretty much the charity is my life and my little one is my life. Other than that, I am a big lover of outdoors and the beach and the farm. But yeah, that's simple, quick little, I've got a massive family, which I will get into when I will talk about the reason why Hope in a Suitcase started and stuff. But that's about it.
When did you move to Newcastle? How long ago?
I moved to Port Stephens probably like 93.
Oh, right. Okay. So you've been down there a while. I said we did a bit of a comms check. G'day, Rob the Wanderer. Did a comms check last night, Rach, and said a lot of the community, a lot of the people in the chat room are from around the Port Stephens thing. And I hope Chrissy, I got an important, she's on there. I think I just saw her. I got Chrissy Burns. Chrissy's going to have a question, ladies, because Chrissy's down there around Newcastle and wants to get involved somehow. And I don't know if it'll be allowed, and we'll talk about that soon anyway. But Chrissy is a magnificent member of the community. She just did a heap of Christmas hampers up. We for Rob the Wanderer and the live feeds we did at Christmas time. And Chrissy's a baker type thing by trade and a very good one. And she made put all these Christmas hampers together for the community, and all local produce from around the Newcastle area and that, and can bake beautiful cakes and all that type of stuff. And I might as well tell you now, in case I forget, Chrissy reached out to me, Rach and Karen, and she wants to know, is it possible if she gets involved with Hope in a Suitcase in the way of she makes beautiful biscuits and stuff like that. It'll be peanut free and all that type of stuff. And I don't know if you're able to put little biscuits or little cupcakes or something like that. But if so, I can put you in touch with Chrissy because she really wants to get involved somehow. And she's down in Newcastle as well. Is something like that something Hope in a Suitcase could do?
We can't put food into the suitcases, obviously, because they can perish as well as then we don't know the allergies of any children involved. But there could be some other way that we could still get them to these families and get the families in need, whether I can here in Newcastle, if she's Newcastle based, working with child protection here and still be able to somehow get some of her cookies into the offices for when the kids go into care, or when they have them, because sometimes they have them sitting there in the office waiting until they can find them a placement, and their kids are just sitting there waiting and waiting. So it could even be something looking into how we might be able to just get something, so when the kids are waiting around, they can give them a treat if they're allowed to eat that sort of food. In terms of putting them into the suitcase, we can't put food. Yeah, but but I'm more than happy to get in touch and have a chat of other ways that we might be able to utilize her amazing baking skills.
Exactly right. There might be times where you can use Chrissy's skill. So I'll put Chrissy,
especially like Christmas time in that, because I do quite do hampers and stuff as well for the at high risk families and stuff. So we do the food hampers and that. So
all right, Chrissy, Chrissy's in the chat room, so I'll put Chrissy in touch with you. Chrissy and Jeff, just magnificent people with big hearts. And as I said, I thought the putting stuff in the bags would be an issue, but as you said, there's probably other ways that Chrissy's camp is to go out to families or something like that. So I'll put Chrissy in touch with you. So that's good. All right, Chrissy, I'll get you in touch with Rach, mate. That'll be Yeah, Chrissy would want to help with the charity. Yeah, okay, that'll be fantastic, Chrissy. Good on you.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Karen up there in Townsville, tell us a bit about yourself, Karen. And you, when I first not met you in person, but talked to you on the phone, and Gidgy Gorilla, my brother Ken, he's actually met you in person when we did the big Hope in a Suitcase drive a few years ago, and got God knows how many suitcases and that.
It was amazing.
You're on the Gold Coast then, weren't you?
Yeah. We I'm actually from New South Wales. Grew up in
here we
Orange.
go. So you're a Blues supporter now. You're going to tell me, are you?
Trust me, I've converted, so it's all
good on you. That's all right then.
My husband hasn't, but I have. Grew up in New South Wales in Orange, which was a cold place. Then moved up here. I can't remember how many years, but we're up here for 14 years in Townsville. Yeah. And then we own the Optus franchise up here, one of them, and got out of retail after 20 years and decided to move down to the Gold Coast for 3 years. Was down there for 3 years and then missed our kids too much and ended up coming back up here. But Hope in a Suitcase in Queensland started down when I was down there, when I saw what Rachael was doing as a foster carer, saw the need for all these kids who come into care with nothing. And I just couldn't believe that was happening, and thought, how can we fix this? Had no idea where to start. Saw a post on Facebook by my sister-in-law shared and of what Rachael was doing, and messaged her and said, hey, do you mind if we bring this to Queensland and see what we can do? And she goes, go for it. Gave me all the ins and outs of everything. And, just did a little Facebook page, started it, and it took off. So that was when we were in Gold Coast. So, and then moved back up here about 3 years ago. So,
okay. Oh, that's good. And so, Rachael, you already had Hope in a Suitcase up and running, and Karen reached out through social media. And you didn't know each other beforehand?
No. She reached out, and now she's become a massive part of Hope in a Suitcase. She's my pretty much sister and partner in the Hope in a Suitcase. How much she's put into it over the years and stuff, and we're very much very similar people, and our values align very, very closely. So she's been beautiful to work with, and she's done amazing things there in Queensland.
Both foster mums and that. So, Rach, let's go into when and why did you get involved and want to get Hope in a Suitcase up and running here in Australia?
Yeah, so I grew up with my family fostering from, I think I was about 11 when we first took in some children. And I still remember from young age, our first little one actually got dropped to the door in the middle of the night by the police. And I still remember, as an 11-year-old, seeing this tiny little baby dropped off with a tiny little garbage bag full of disgusting, dirty, smelly clothes. And as an 11-year-old, that stuck with me. And then we continued through my life, welcoming multiple children into my family. I think now we've had over 40 people, like 40 young kids, like in our family, come and go, as well as long term. Over 40, yeah.
Wow, what an amazing.
And my family now still continue to foster. My family have 10 long-term children at home on the farm. So my mum and dad are very busy. But yeah, so continuing over the years, I continued to see that happening. And I became very passionate about helping all my brothers and sisters, because obviously I classed them as brothers and sisters as a kid. I was never, they're my foster brothers and sisters. I very much class them as their family. So, and I became very passionate about that. So, whilst all my friends were going out, when we started to get into the teenage years, I loved staying home and helping look after, my drug addicted brother and that sort of thing. And it became my passion about how we can give these kids the best life possible. And then, I obviously moved out of home, life continued on, and I ended up getting asked to take on a little child, a little girl that had been to over 27 homes, and they couldn't find a placement for her. And so I made the big decision to become a foster carer and take her on. And yet all these years later, still I saw a child enter into my care and come with no belongings. And then soon after that, not long after that, I went with my family to the hospital to pick up a little newborn. And I thought, isn't it crazy to think you just go into a hospital, you show your license and you pick up this innocent little child, and you just handed a child with a tiny little hospital, well, it's not a hospital bag, it's a, you put your dirty nappies in, that garbage bag, nappy bag, tied with a dirty singlet in it. And it's, here you go, set off to, start this little one's life. And it really, really sunk in and sat with me and thinking, all these other children, when they're born into love, showered with the gifts. And it's not about the objects and the gifts, but they're showered with comfort, love, warmth. Most families are leaving hospital unable to carry all the belongings out of, because, if they're in intensive care, which this little one was for quite some time, they're built up of clothes and gifts that you usually see. You didn't see with this child. We're carrying a child out with an empty, tiny little bag. And I just thought, that's pretty sad to think that this little kid, this little baby actually has entered this world with nothing, no one around them, no love, no warmth. And so that really stuck with me that night. And then I went home and it's still just, I couldn't let it go. And then I've got a big psych background, so that's my passion. And so I obviously had already been looking into the statistics around children in foster care, but I started to delve more into that and, was shocked to read the reality that these kids in care are 3 times more likely to end up not attending school, 3 times more likely to end up on drugs, 3 times more likely to end up homeless, 3 times more likely to end up in the criminal justice system, even as teenagers. And I just thought, that's not good enough. These children have done nothing wrong. They're born into the world, innocent children. They didn't ask for this to happen. And yet here we are setting them up into a life of a statistics of 3 times more likely to end up living hell, really, living with severe mental illness, living, in and out of jail. And I just thought, what can we do to help this? And then as tiny as it seemed and simple as it seemed, I thought it comes right back to the beginning. And I thought, no wonder these kids have this statistic where we're sending them into foster care the very first night they enter into foster care with either nothing or a garbage bag. And I'm like, the garbage bag to me represents trash, the leftovers, the unwanted goods. And these kids are dragging it. And often within a week, they've moved to multiple homes, especially the teenagers. Within a week, they might get placed into 3 different foster homes, and yet they're carrying a garbage bag with them. And I thought, hang on a second. It's not so simple, is it? That's actually really powerful, that message we're sending them. And I thought, what more can we expect from these kids when we're sending them a message that you're trash, you're the unwanted leftover goods, you're not worthy? How are we expecting them to want to go to school? How are we expecting them to want to strive for any different in life? And so I thought, hang on a second, we can do something about this. And so I was like, I think when they're placed into care, they should have their dignity restored. They should have belongings, the rights to clean underwear, the right to have a toothbrush to brush their teeth. Why are we not giving them this, sending them this message? And so I couldn't let it go. The next day I woke up, I put a post on my local, FOSS, you have your community pages for your local area, saying, right, this is what I'm going to do. I want to start putting together suitcases for children when they go into out-of-home care, so that they've got new belongings, toiletries, all the essentials that really we take for granted. And obviously at the start, it took a while for people to get on board. Slowly people were, okay, yeah, I'll donate something. And the big challenge was getting child protection on board, because obviously, you're reaching out to child protection, the system that's already, falling apart and already under the pump and can't meet the needs out there already. So, trying to get them to get on board and think, hang on a second, this person's, not talking rubbish. They might have something, worthwhile listening to. And so I finally was able to get onto someone in child protection and get them to give it a go. And so they took some of our cases, and it didn't take long for them to realize the difference that it was making, for them to be asking for more. And that's when it just started to grow more, because then another child protection office would hear about it from another person, and it just started to grow and grow. So I just obviously then had to put the word out there more and more, put more posts out. Then I decided to create the Facebook page, and I created a website, just started to get that word out there even more. And then I had the privilege of even being invited into child protection to talk to them about why we're doing what we're doing and why it's so important that the caseworkers actually give these children a suitcase. Going in there and talking to the caseworkers about, how do you expect this child to trust you and, believe that you're going to keep them safe if you're the person that's removed them and you've sent them this message that, you're not really worthy of anything, but believe we're taking you to a stranger's house right now, but, we expect that you trust that, we've got your best interest at heart. These poor kids don't know these strangers. And I just kind of was able to really instill in them the importance of it, and just that the fact that children can't actually be resilient. They can't actually be hopeful or have any sense of independence or self-confidence if they don't have that self-worth. It all comes back down to self-worth. Self-worth is the foundation pretty much for all of a child's development. And I just truly believe that by giving them that garbage bag and sending them that message, it really is giving them no foundation to grow on. So Hope in a Suitcase is all about planting that initial seed. It's not the answer to everything. It's not taking away the trauma that they've been through. It's not all of a sudden a magic fix, but it certainly plants a seed that can grow, whether it's even for a small second that child is reminded that they're worthy. And, 2 years later, they might even think back to that suitcase they got and that thought that they had in that moment. It's still powerful enough that there's still room for those neurotransmitters to create more positive paths in their brain, to get them feeling hopeful, worthy, that sort of thing, and start to try to break that cycle. I've had children in my care come and have nothing, not even have a school uniform. I'm like, why hasn't the past carer or someone else not even bothered to give this child a school uniform? No wonder they're not going to school, and the kid be absolute, well, I'm not going to school uniform, refusing. But to have someone actually believe in them and see them and their worth and say, you know what, you don't have a choice, we're going out and buying you a school uniform, because just like everyone else, you deserve to go to school, you need to go to school, get an education. And this one kid, for the first time ever in her life, woke up before I even woke up. I got up and she was there in her school uniform, ready to go to school for the first time that the caseworkers, anyone had ever seen. They're like, what have you done? And I'm like, nothing. All I did was show her that I see her and I believe in her and know her worth. And a simple little thing like giving her the right to a school uniform like all the other kids, what message that can send a child. So it's all about that simple message that we can send these kids. You know, we supply to the hospitals, we supply to the police officers even, because, you know, how many times can we sit back and whinge about the trouble that all these kids, you know, how can we sit back and continue to whinge about all these kids that are out on the street doing the wrong thing, you know, the people that are a part of the system, and keep repeating the cycle, if we're not actually willing to do something? You know, when the police officers call me, I could say, hang on a second, nah, I don't want to give that person, that teenager, a suitcase. You know, they just come out of juvie. They've been doing the wrong thing. Why would they get a suitcase? I could choose to do that. But instead, why not be the person that says, yeah, you know what, this person's just come out of juvie. This is their chance now to be reminded that they're worthy.
A fresh start.
Chance, and empower them. So I'm very big on wanting to reach them kids, because sadly a huge percentage of these kids that are coming out of juvie and stuff are actually a part of the child protection system. And so they've been let down along the way. So I love that Hope in a Suitcase is able to give them that chance. And, you know, I just recently from a rehab, just local, you know, people wouldn't believe there's rehabs out there for 12-year-olds. I've got one 5 minutes down the street from me. And a huge percentage of them are children in the child protection system. And, you know, I love that they can call us and say, we've got a kid coming from juvie, they're coming to the rehab centre. They've got absolutely nothing except for their juvie clothes that they have to wear in juvie. I love being able to provide them with all beautiful new stuff. You know, they're just as worthy as any other kid out there. And it was so nice to receive feedback just recently that they've actually seen an increase in the kids that receive the suitcases, an increase in their length of stay and willingness to participate in the program. Whereas kids were planning on leaving and they weren't going to stay, they've noticed that once they've had their own belongings to wear and they're not feeling that sense of shame, you know, how embarrassing is it to have no clothes to change into, no underwear to even change into, and not have any single family member to turn to say, hey, can you go to the shops for me and get me some? And sadly for these kids, they don't have anyone to turn to. So, you know, that they're saying that once we provide them with that, those essential needs really that we take for granted, that they're shocked to see that all of a sudden there's a willingness in this child to stay in the program and actually do the rehab program. So I thought that was pretty amazing to hear. But really, it just comes back to that simple thing, meeting the child's essential needs that really should be met anyway, and the message that we're sending those kids through that.
Imagine getting up in the morning and not having a toothbrush and some toothpaste, or for a young girl, not have a hairbrush to brush her hair. Just basic stuff like that. Hey, there's been a few questions, Rach, and we're going to go through it. Tommy Oliver and Tracy Lindenberg wanting Facebook sites and all that type. We'll go through that before we go, and we'll try and let people know all the Hope in a Suitcases around Australia, that if they want to help and all that. And Nathan brought up a good question here, Rachel. What was the initial reaction of child protection when you first approached them? Was it like, did it take them a while to come on board, or did they really?
Yeah, there was very hesitance, we don't have the time for that. We're busy. We don't have the time for that. There's not enough space in our office, or, you know, we've had people donate backpacks before, you know, they don't really get used, that sort of thing. And it wasn't until I really got them on board and could educate them on the fact that there's so much more to this. And yes, it might take you 5 minutes to go to your storeroom, or, you know, a couple minutes to send us an email, but you're actually saving time. Because I tried to say, you know, think about the challenges that you could be minimizing by giving this child a solid start into their journey into out-of-home care. You know, like, it's so important that a child is able, as I said, to get along with their caseworker and trust their caseworker. You know, it gives also the caseworker that chance to build that rapport with the child as well as, you know, if a child's feeling somewhat a sense of self-worth, and then able to feel that sense of security and safety, there's less chance that the kid's going to be running away. There's less chance there's going to be placement breakdowns. You know, in the long run, you actually could essentially be saving yourself time, saving yourself paperwork, and saving a child's life. And so it took a while, but gradually, as I said, they saw the difference. They saw those initial reactions from the children. So yeah,
unbelievable.
And gradually they got on board and were all for it. Yeah.
Well, you only have to listen to you for 5 minutes to know that it is just a wonderful, wonderful idea. I mean, anyone who, you know, just listening to you for 5 minutes and I like that, you know, and when my mum first told me about it, because Karen, she knows Jess and the other girl,
Kate.
Kate and Jess, and as soon as I heard about it, I thought, I didn't even hear about it, and although I really want to get involved in this, and our first one was fantastic, and some of the people in here, I saw something on the website this afternoon that 5,000 suitcases just in 2025. My brother said, "Race, do you know roughly how many suitcases have gone out in day one?" Do you keep track of that at all? Or?
Last year was 5,800 and something. And so since we've started, I think it will be over 15,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. I reckon about 13,000 of them from the Buckaroony community. How many suitcases did we do? Well, it was about 3 or 4 years ago now. It was a while ago. But there was, I don't know how many we came up with, but it was a lot. People were digging deep for that one.
It was huge, yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah,
yes.
It was.
That was on
good.
the Gold Coast?
Yeah. My brother got involved, and the dreaded show. I had people up here getting involved in it.
It was amazing.
It was Scotty Jennings. It's a great way to get a community together for something really positive. As you know, we love helping animal shelters and all that out, but it's almost what you're talking about there, Rach. It's almost like we feel sorry for dogs that are sitting in a pound and don't have a home. There's humans the same that don't have a home to go to. They don't have anyone to love them. They've got parents that were, I don't know, there's all different scenarios and that, but it's sad to think that there's little kids out there. What age do you go? We go from newborns right up to what? To under 16?
18.
18, is it? Oh, righto.
Yeah,
okay.
All the way up.
18, yeah.
Yeah, and I still am very passionate about that older age group too, because, you know, it's such a vulnerable age, and it really is. If we have any chance to touch those kids' lives in that moment, it really can be that turning point for their life. Because sadly, as we know, these kids, the statistics are awful, and just to think that they're living a life where they almost feel like it's gonna turn to crap anyway. Why bother? You know, it's so important to be able to reach those children in those times. You know, it's pretty sad to think that there's kids out there that are homeless, but they're homeless because they're a part of the child protection system. They've been to 50 billion homes. They've got nowhere to go. They've got no family to turn to. And yet here they are. It's sad to think there's 16, 15, even younger, turning up to the hospital sick because they're that sick, because they've had nowhere to sleep. They've had no food to eat, you know, so we'll get a call from the hospital and, you know, they'll be like, we're just, we've got this child here. We're trying to find somewhere for them to go. Like, can you help? And, you know, we love being able to say yes as much as we can. Obviously, you know, we're a non-for-profit charity run entirely by donations, and we don't get paid for anything we do. You know, we hate when there's times when people reach out and we have to say that's not actually our area that we cover. But we love being able to say yes when we can. And the sad reality is most of these kids, when we're asked, you know, can we help? They are a part of the system. They're a part of the child protection system. You know, they're homeless because they don't have anywhere to go, because they've had so many placement breakdowns that then why give it another chance? You know, these poor kids have been to so many homes that then give up on them. Why would they want to go to another home to yet be told they have to leave again? So that's why they end up on the streets. And I think that's what some people don't understand. You know, you see people, I see it all the time, you know, there'll be a child gone missing and people will say, I've seen that person missing before. They're such a runaway. They run away all the time. You know, they need to realize how lucky they are to have a roof over their head, not realizing that child could have been to 100 homes and been told they're too hard, they're too naughty, we don't want them anymore, and be rejected. So it's like we don't actually know the story behind what these kids are going through. And, people might think, oh, that doesn't happen. And it's like, I can tell you 100% that happens. I hear of it daily, that, these kids they've been through so much trauma. So, they're not easy kids, but they're also worthy kids, and they're also worth the time and effort. So, it's not a matter of they're just the homeless runaway kids. There's always more to it.
Yeah, absolutely. They just need, sometimes the older ones just need some good guidance, don't they? And some good advice, some good guidance, and just a bit of love and a bit of care. And just everyone wants to be wanted and appreciated, don't
100%.
they? It's just
human
nature. When you sit there and think, no one likes me, I'm by myself. Imagine a young 15, 16-year-old girl doesn't even have basic toiletries and that. That's Anyway, it's a wonderful thing. I'm not a big one on charities that have big CEOs and all that, and I know Russ from the Townsville Chiefs is the same. And I'm not knocking the big charities and Red Crosses and all that. So they do a wonderful job, I know that, but that's why we want to get involved, because we're dealing with.
It was funny because I was out shopping, last week, and I had all this stuff in my trolley because I was trying to do this big order for child protection, and a man stopped me and said, "Gosh, you're buying up. You're spending a lot of money." And I ended up saying, "It's for charity." And so he asked, "What's the charity? What are you doing?" And then pretty much said, "Oh, so you get to go spend all the money," sort of thing. And then I ended up saying, "I'm actually the CEO. Like, I started it. I manage it nationally, and I don't actually get paid to do anything that I'm doing." And he's like, "You're the CEO," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the CEO." Like, and he's like, "Oh, okay. You must be like a real charity or something." Then it's not often you would see the CEO out on the grounds actually doing the charity work. And I was like, "Yeah, that's Hope in a Suitcase. Not a single one of us are paid, not a single cent." And that's what we love about the charity. We also we're not out begging for money. Sadly, a few times, especially this year, because the need's so large out there, obviously we can't operate if we don't have funds to operate. And so sometimes we have to reach out and ask for the generosity of the community. But I've always stayed very big on, I don't want to be out all the time asking for money and demanding things. I want it to be more of a people are touched by what we do and drawn, by the hearts to what we do and want to contribute, rather than it be a guilt thing, asking for money all the time. So it was interesting though to see someone's reaction of, "What, you're the CEO? What are you doing out shopping?" sort of thing. Whereas it's like, this is, I do it all every day. I pack the suitcases every single day. Like, sometimes I'm up to 1 o'clock in the morning packing the suitcases. It's our passion. Every single one of us that are on board. Karen's the same. The hours that Karen puts in, as well as then looking after the children she cares for. People don't realize we just do it out of love. And because we want to see a change for these kids. They deserve better than what currently the statistics show.
Oh, it's amazing. Rach, just another one. I was in the cheap shop the other day, Prices Plus here in Innisfail, and I was looking at the little suitcases, trying to get an idea of the price. And a lady said, "Oh, what are you looking?" I said, "Oh, no." I told her it's for a charity, and I told her a little bit about Hope in a Suitcase. She reaches in, "Here's $10." And then I ran into her at the hospital the other day, and another 10. So that's Rosemary's.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She didn't know about it, and it wasn't until I said, "Oh, it's Hope in a Suitcase for foster kids." And as soon as I told her like 30 seconds of the story, she was in a bag. "Oh, I've got $10," and she saw me the other day and said, "Oh,
that's beautiful."
I didn't have it. And that's why we're doing tonight, is just to hear the story and get the message out there for everyone in the chat room there. Some of you may not have heard of Hope in a Suitcase, but it's something that you can pass on to your friends and get the word out there, because you guys rely on the generosity of others and all that type of stuff. So that's why I'm doing this. I wanted to have you on there rather than me just talk about it, actually get to talk to the ladies that are behind the whole thing here. And you two are the two big ones. And let's go on about, Karen, you run the North Queensland one, obviously. Rach, what's your Facebook page? Is there one there in the Hunter Valley where if people in that area want to get in?
Just the main page, the Hope in a Suitcase Australia page, is where I put all the Newcastle stuff on anyway. So if people want to message via the Hope in a Suitcase Australia page, they can just message that directly.
And that'll go to you. You monitor that one, do you? Hope in a Suitcase
Yes,
Australia.
yeah, definitely all the time. So if anyone in our area or a different area around Australia wants to get in touch, they can just contact that way. But Karen also has her page for up in northern Queensland. But if anyone's not sure, they can contact me, and I easily let them know what's the best point of contact for their area, and let them know that they've got a local page to follow. So we don't want to make it so everyone has to go searching for pages. I'm more than happy to get any questions sent through and pass them on. And Karen has her page that she does an amazing job of running for people to stay locally connected and updated on what's needed.
Karen, you've got a massive area. You're like Bob Catter, the politician. His electorate is huge. That's what Hope in a Suitcase is like for you. You go from Townsville to Cape York, all the way out to Mount Isa. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we've got we cover all the Townsville and Cairns with the first two we got on, and Innisfail now we do, and Atherton, Tablelands. And we've just been able to get them out to Mount Isa, which has been amazing.
That's a long way out. Yeah, 10-hour drive.
It is. Yeah. And we had a company offer to do free transport for us, which was lovely. So they took them over there for us, which was really good to be able to get it to them because they have a big need out there. But transport's the biggest thing because it's so expensive. It costs more than the suitcase itself to send it up to anywhere, each suitcase. So, so people like that are amazing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, massive. Rach, what's your area cover there in? Do you do the whole? You go from the Queensland border to Victoria.
So I've got 2 branches set up in Sydney, and then I've got one in Taree. And so the lady in Taree does Taree, and then also like Kempsey, Port Macquarie area. Otherwise, I pack for all of the Hunter Valley, Newcastle, Lake Macquarie. Then I pack all the way up to Coffs Harbour. Then I pack all the way, I don't do Sydney, obviously, but I do the Central Coast. Then Sydney is covered by Sydney. And then I do like Shell Harbour, Batesman Bay, Illawarra, Ulladulla, Albury, Griffith, Dillington, Leeton, or Dubbo, pretty much all of New South Wales. So we cover the area, and we try to reach as many remote regional areas to. We don't, it's hard. People say, "Oh, I want to donate this money, but can you make sure it stays only in this area?" And we do our best to do that, but it's really hard because you got to look at the reality of where the greatest needs are. Those communities are never going to be able to be giving us as much as the other areas. Does that mean that we shouldn't reach those kids? No, those kids didn't ask to be in that area. They didn't ask to be in this situation. So we're very big on ensuring that we can reach as many kids as possible, regardless of whether their area is able to put into what we do. So we try to cover it's great that we get out to Mount Isa and that now because, just because of a location, we don't want these kids to miss out. So, pretty much cover the whole of New South Wales, really.
Is that a way people can help as well? Is if, Karen, for example, if someone has got family in Mount Isa and they're going out to Mount Isa, is there a way they can contact you and say, hey, listen, I've got family, I'm visiting family in Mount Isa. Have you got any suitcases? I'll take them out I'm going out that way anyway. I'll take,
Absolutely.
You might say, I've got half a dozen suitcases I need to get out there. Right, same as you. Is there
100%? That's a big help for us is transport. Because even if there's a transport company that wants to get on board and help what we do, same thing. That's a massive help for us. We definitely it's not all about getting people to donate money. There's other ways that people can get involved. And for us, the transport thing is a massive thing for us. So, and, you know, it doesn't mean that they have to be able to take the whole 42 suitcases or whatever. You know, it's a huge help if they could just put 4 or 6 in their car and take it along their trip with them. It still makes a difference.
Really good. Well, there you go, guys. If there's a way you can do that, or you know someone who's got a small transport company, I know the cost of diesel's a touchy subject at the moment, but people are still got to travel anyway. But if there is a way that you can help Hope in a Suitcase, get in touch with your local Hope in a Suitcase. And if you are traveling somewhere, there might be a way you can, if you've got a bit of spare space. Rach, you've got some other wonderful people backing you up behind the scenes. What's some other locations around Australia? Terry G just asked, was there one in the Wide Bay area? I don't think so. Around the Hervey Bay area, Karen, is there one?
Yes, we've got Hervey Bay. Yep.
Oh, well, okay.
We've got Hervey Bay. And we've got the Gold Coast, Brisbane, the Sunshine Coast, all over Victoria, also Tasmania.
I noticed that comes up on Facebook. You type Hope in a Suitcase, the main one comes up, and also Hope in a Suitcase Tasmania always pops up. So
So there's areas all out there, you know, and there's so many ways that people can get involved. You know, people don't realize, you know, when you're out shopping, if, you know, toothpaste is on sale and you can buy, you know, especially your kids' toothpaste or your kids' soap whilst it's on sale, you know, chuck an extra one in your trolley and donate it. You know, if every single person was willing to donate, you know, a tube of toothpaste, even if it was once a year or, you know, every month, you know, the difference that it could make if people were to realize that every little bit counts. It really would make a difference, you know, especially, you know, up in Townsville, getting support for current, you know, it doesn't have to be big. People need to realize it doesn't have to be big. You know, if they're at Kmart, you know, a $6 or $8 pack of pajamas, you know, and that's an amazing help for us. Or, you know, a $4.50 jumper at Kmart, you know, they sell jumpers, I think, for $4.50. You know, one item, it doesn't have to be a lot. You know, no one's judging how much someone donates. And because we've got all our beautiful drop-off locations anyway, you know, you don't have to go in and think that people are judging you. You know, just turn up and put in the basket one folded jumper, it doesn't matter. You know, one pack of underwear, it doesn't matter. It all makes a difference. So I think that's where people need to realize it doesn't have to be massive.
I know Pete McMurtry, one of the community members, I think Pete's in there tonight. Pete's from Townsville, Karen, and he's got 4 grandkids and of different ages. And Pete and Michelle were going to grab the grandkids, go to Kmart.
Beautiful.
And that kid was going to shop for the same sex and the same age kid that they were. So it was a 10-year-old girl. Then Pete's 10-year-old granddaughter shops for a 10-year-old girl and goes around Kmart and goes, oh, I reckon she'd like that. And you get the kids involved as well. And he was going to put 4 suitcases. I think Pete's son's got a motorbike shop or something and has offered a big donation as well, which I don't know what we've got at the moment. The shirts that we're doing close this Sunday morning, and then I'll be able to do my maths and work out what I owe Russ for the shirts and then the postage. And we've had a lot of really good donations. The Townsville Chiefs have donated $1,000 on top of Tracy Lindenberg in the chat room. I'm going to dob you in, Tracy. I think she bought 1 shirt and put $300 in the bank account. So amazing. We've had all that. Brett from SMG Sports has managed to source little kids' suitcases from Alibaba, and instead of maybe now buying $50 each in Australia, we found these beautiful little kids' suitcases with an animal theme on the front for $21. So it looks like we're going to order 100 of those. We've got Russ from the team, nice sports bags. We're going to be getting a nice sports bag with a carry handle and a shoulder strap for the teenage kid.
Thank you.
Townsville Chiefs logo, the Buckaroony logo, and the Hope in a Suitcase logo on the bags. Plus also, Karen, those nice Anko bags from Kmart that are good for the nappies and all that type of stuff. So I think I've gone from hoping to get you like a dozen bags and that. It's gonna be bigger than Ben-Hur again.
Nothing ever stops you, Buck.
You don't do anything small.
No,
No.
I reached out a little while ago, Karen, and you said, "Buck, can you put up on your Facebook page? We're really short of suitcases and bags themselves, just the bags to put, because that's the big ticket item at the end of the day."
It is.
You know, they're up to about $50 now for a little kid's suitcase.
Yeah, it never used to be that way, but sadly, COVID happened.
Yeah.
Freight changed, shipping changed, and sadly, all of the luggage companies struggled and continue to struggle, and the prices just haven't gone back down. They just keep going up.
Well, we're getting around that. We're going to Alibaba and getting the suitcases. And Russ has got a bloke in Pakistan that makes really nice sports bags, like all the footy players for the Townsville Chiefs all got it's like a proper sports bag with zips on the end. And great for teenage kids and that. And we'll grab a heap of those Anko ones, Karen, as well. After Sunday night, I'll be able to put up on Facebook what money we've got to play with, and then we'll work out how much of each we're buying and all that. So it's all going to the North Queen. I wish I could get it to all the other places, Rach, and get some stuff down to you. But Karen, you said you're having trouble keeping up with the amount of foster kids up in North Queensland at the moment. So you're going to
use this year has started off with so many. We've already sent out 155 suitcases just in these
North
first
Queensland.
3 months.
There you go, everyone. There you go. So they're definitely going to get used, Karen. And as much as we'd love to send some to Tassie and down to Newcastle and that, we're well, I live up here, so just
spreading the word helps anyway.
It does.
You know, if someone hears of it down this way, you know, we need support all over. So it's great that we can get some good support up there in North Queensland, up the top there. Because Karen's done an amazing job of trying to get it up and running successfully up there. And you know, as a charity that you're so passionate about, it is always stressful when you're thinking. You know, as the CEO, I get stressed quite often thinking, I don't want to have to say no. I don't want to have to say, at the moment, we can't deliver any suitcases because we don't have the resources or the funds. And, you know, I know Karen's the same. You know, you're passionate about it. You want it to be successful, but there's only so much you as one person can do. So you really need to get people in the community willing to do their part too.
Yeah, and that's right. When you're relying on donations and all that, you can only do so much, but something's better than nothing, isn't it?
100%.
Absolutely.
Hey, Rach, Karen met this guy the other day. I just want to show you as well. His name is James Fawkes, everyone. This is the type of people we got. And I don't know James. He's new to the community, everyone. There he is there. Did some time. He's just been discharged from the Australian Army. He had some injuries there. And he saw me talk on a live feed about Hope in a Suitcase. So James just went out and he bought, out of his own money, $600 worth of stuff and personally delivered to Karen there in Townsville. So James, absolute champion, mate.
Absolutely.
So that's the start, everyone, of the this current drive. James took the lead, and ex-army lad, and loves helping other people out. Just went out of his way. I think he spent about $600 out of his own back pocket and actually delivered the stuff to Karen there. And that's your shop there in Townsville, Karen. They're hoping
yeah, we've got a little office there we've been very fortunate to have, and the signage there on the door was donated to us as well by a local company, so that was really lovely. Yeah,
it's good, eh? And if anyone out there knows any people that you think could contribute in some way to Hope in a Suitcase, whether it's a transport company, doesn't matter, if it, just ask around, guys. Always put the word out there, put the feelers out, and tell them about Hope in a Suitcase, because as soon as people hear the story, people will want to get involved. So, James, if you're watching, mate, absolute champion. That's the start of the charity. I've already received that, and I got 4 big bags of suitcases in my shed at the moment. 4 boxes, and there's 3 suitcases to a box. There's a large, medium, and small. With the wheels and all that type of stuff. They were donated by a guy called Darren Thompson, everyone. And Darren used to live in Texas down and knows my mum's family. My mum was from Texas on the Queensland border there. And Darren Thompson's already bought 12 suitcases and got them delivered to to me, they're sitting in my shed at the moment. I've got to go to a wedding down in Townsville if the cyclone doesn't blow us away on the 11th of April. So Karen, I'll be bringing them down to you on about the 11th of April.
Awesome.
Put them down, and I'll probably drop Mum's rugs around, and everyone in the community knows that Mum crochets rugs for Hope in a Suitcase. And now
we love her baby blankets.
Yeah, how good they're fantastic for a small kid, aren't they? They go out with a little crocheted rug, a little stuffed toy, a book, the Rafa books. Did you get rid of all the Rafa books, Karen?
Absolutely. They were just so loved.
Did you see them at all, Rachel? The Rafa.
I did. I got some sent down to me too. They're awesome.
Oh, beauty! Yeah, they were good, and they were a huge success. And hopefully, there's a little kid out there, and I know people got in touch with me and said, "Oh, my kid loves the Rafa book because it's just funny and there's a good in there and all that type of stuff." So it doesn't matter whether it's a book, a stuffed toy, Mum crochet and rugs. A lady here, and I won't. 3 huge garbage bags of wool there. A lady dropped in from Cairns the other day with her husband and said, "I've got 3 bags of wool here, Buck. Do you want it? Take it down to your mum." So I've got 3 massive bags of wool. Mum's got. Gidgy just bought, my brother just bought Mum hundreds of dollars worth of wool. Mum said, "I've got enough wool to keep me going all year now." So he's retired now, as you know, and she's crocheting away. It's just a good way to get involved. So
everyone can get involved, no matter how big or small. And even if someone's not in the position to be able to donate an item, like sharing it to other people and letting other people know about what we do is a big help. But also the other big thing that, I put it out there, one of the biggest things you can do to help our charity as well is just changing people's attitudes around children in foster care, changing the way you talk about kids in foster care, talking about it more, it's not positive they're in foster care, but talking about these kids as, human beings that are worthy, loved, and belong in society just like anyone else. And there's nothing stopping these kids from becoming the next brain surgeon or the next Australian of the Year. There's absolutely nothing stopping them. The only thing that will be stopping them is that stigma we as society are creating, that barrier that we're creating. So a big thing that we're passionate about is empowering these kids. So you don't have to be able to donate items.
It's amazing, and they just need an opportunity, some of them, don't they? We give them the opportunity 100%. And a lot of home and some good guidance and that, and who knows where these kids could end up. Listen, you're both foster carers yourself. I've heard from people that trying to become a foster carer is an absolute nightmare. Is it hard to become a foster family? Like if you say there's a husband and wife team out there, say me and Roz want to become foster carers, how hard is it to do that?
It's a long process.
I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's a long process. And the bit that makes it hard is the fact that people don't realize how vulnerable you have to make yourself. You have to hand over 10 years of your own medical records. You have to hand over access to 10 years of any records to do with yourself. So whether or not they bother to actually go down and search all those 10 years records, it's a huge deal to be able to be that vulnerable to say, take a look at my whole life, hand that over, having people come into your house, looking at every single thing in your house, making sure your house is to the set standard of the certain amount of locks, different things. Those are the things that people might find hard. Are the questions that come with it, and also the level of commitment. But I think it's also that it's such a drawn out process is why I think people think it's so hard, is that it doesn't just happen overnight. It could take 6 months, 12 months. It really just depends on the individual.
I think one thing people don't realise too, I mean, it is a long process. It took about 8 months for us to get to the approval, mostly because they had to keep waiting for assessors to come from Brisbane to come up to Townsville and things like that. So it takes a long time. But I think one thing people don't realise is you don't have to be a permanent full-time foster carer. You know, people say, oh, you know, I couldn't do that because I work or whatever. You can be a respite carer, you know, a familiar face for one particular foster family that you know those kids and be like their grandparents. You could have them on a weekend once a month, or you could have them on a school holiday or whatever. That you can be emergency carer, you know, just for a place for someone maybe on weekends or things like that, or a short-term carer. Those, you know, it's not always a commitment that you have to take on a child till they're 18 or whatever. So there are different types of foster care you can do as well.
Right. So it's not
Same amount of training and time to become there,
Yeah.
but then you can just sort of say, and you can also say, look, I can only take on, you know, babies of a certain age, or I can only do, you know, teenagers because, you know, or kids that are at school because I work full time, different things like that. So you can actually fit with what suits your family as well. Like you might have young kids and you think, I just want to foster kids that are younger than that age, that type of thing, for different reasons. So yeah, there's lots of different ways.
It must be hard when you get a young kid and you get attached to the kid and then the parents want it back or something. Does that ever happen? Like, imagine having a dog attached to a dog from a pound, and then like, you're only a foster thing, and they say, oh, we found an owner now, and you're so attached to it. I mean, I can imagine you become.
Everybody always says, I could never do that because I'd become too attached. And my favourite thing to say to people is, then that makes you the perfect person. If you're someone who would love a child enough to be attached and have your heart broken when they leave, that's the person that should be looking after them, not someone who doesn't attach. So as hard as it is, I always say it is heartbreaking. We've had our heart broken many times. I can imagine. Because it's a broken system, but these kids don't get a choice to say, hey, you know, I don't want to be in foster care because that's too heartbreaking. I can't do that. So, you know, if the people who will get their hearts broken and will love them enough say, I can't do that because of that, then, you know, who does it leave the kids with? So, so it is heartbreaking, but we always have, you know, we have our families around us. We have friends to support us, you know, when you go through that journey of a child leaving suddenly or something like that. But these kids deserve that love and that support while they're with you. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Terry in Harvey Bay. Rachael, is the way I can offer my time to help out wherever they need people? I can imagine, is there a way someone like Terry who is retired, himself and Robin, is there a way they can volunteer?
Yeah, 100%. Especially there in Harvey Bay, like if they get in touch, there's definitely ways to help, whether it be helping packing the bags on a packing day, or being the designated person that can go and collect the donations from the donation points around Harvey Bay for Catherine, and then deliver them back to the branch and stuff like that. There's definitely ways to get on board and help. So. Yeah,
well, there you go, Terry. So there is a way. Get in touch with your local Harvey Bay Hope in a Suitcase, mate, and donate half a day a week or something to say, you know, as Rach said, go around and pick up all the donations. You and Robin might go in for half a day and with a cup of coffee and help pack bags or whatever. And speaking of packing bags, if you do ever want to do a bag up, everyone, Hope in a Suit, HIAS.org.au, Rachel, is the website.
HIASC.org.au. So it's for Hope in a Suitcase. So the C is for the suitcase.
Well, HIAC.org.au. And on there, or did I stuff that up again? Hope in a Suitcase.org.
So suitcase, even though it's one word, it's
HIASC.org.au.
Yeah.
H in a suitcase.org.au, was it?
Yeah.
Hope in a Suitcase, SC. I was leaving the C off. Yeah, so, but on there, that's a really good website, because if you do want to, it gives you ideas of what to put in a suitcase for, say, a 10-year-old girl. And there's a suggested list there, from toiletries to this and that, and absolutely fantastic. So all that information, I know Tommy Oliver wanted to know about the Gold Coast one before, and there is one on the Gold Coast. So Tommy's down there at Coomera. So Tom, if you get onto the Hope in a Suitcase website, mate, and there is one down there in the Gold Coast as well. But sounds like you got them in most places except West Aussie. Northern Territory, was there one up in the Territory at all?
No, we tried to start up there, but it didn't kind of happen. It really depends on the child protection system there. Like,
you reckon that'd be one place that could really do with Open a Suitcase?
I know, but sadly it didn't end up being that way. I wish they did take it a bit more on board, but
wow,
yeah, I think that will be my goal to eventually. It's just obviously it takes a lot of time for me even trying to set it up in other areas. I need to be able to make sure that I can effectively run the ones that we are running. But I have gone and gone out to the Northern Territory before. I've gone out to some remote communities with for Hope in a Suitcase, and reached some communities out there and spent some time out in the remote communities. Trying to at least reach some of the children out there. So I will be doing more of that in the future. I'm
tipping the Northern Territory be like Cape York on steroids type thing. There'd be some dramas. There'd be a lot of kids in the Territory, one can imagine, without going into it. Now, Craig from Western Australia, no, mate, there isn't one in West Aussie. There is another company similar another mob similar in West Aussie, Rach. They do backpacks for kids. You didn't. No, you're not over in Western Australia, mate. So there is I don't know what that other one's called, but they do backpacks and that for kids, but it's not related to Hope in a Suitcase, mate. So it would have been good to have one in West Aussie. It'd be good to have one in just about every decent town in Australia, wouldn't it? You know, if that's pie in the sky type stuff. But what you've done, Rachel, so far, what year did you get it up and running again?
In about April, May 2019.
Oh, well, there you go. 7 years. How far have you come in 7 years? Well, just incredible what you've done in 7 years, mate. You should be proud. Both of you should be very, very proud of yourselves. And someone said before, ladies like you should be nominated for Australian of the Year. And I agree. Always seems to go to some high-profile people. And we said last night, you're just quiet achievers. You don't want the limelight of the spotlight. You're just in the background. You're foster parents, and you're just good people that care about kids. And if the world had more people,
just doing our part, really, just doing our part is what I think it is. Yeah.
If there's not more people like you and Rach and Karen in the world, it'd be a better place. Let me tell you. So you should be proud of what you've done. I know everyone looking at some of the comments in there. Everyone is very proud of what you've done, and I know this community will dig deep. And guys, we appreciate everyone who's helped in past years and also for this one. I wish we could do more. I wish I was a millionaire and I could do a lot more for you. But once again, you can only do what you can do. I'm just a little YouTube channel that's got a wonderful community behind him with once again, just top quality, good human beings that just are good people and want to help out. So it's only a small thing, but we do what we can, and we're proud to help just a great organisation like Hope in a Suitcase. It's good. I love animals, but I think if you're going to get involved with a charity, Hope in a Suitcase is an absolute beauty to get involved in. So anyone out there, get the word out, get them onto the websites, get onto your local Facebook thing and find out where your local Hope in a Suitcase is. And as Terry G said, is there some way we can help out? Whether it's transporting bags or helping pack the bags or picking up stuff from the collection points to bring back to the Hope in a Suitcase office or whatever. There's always some way you can help. You don't have to go out and spend money out of your back pocket. There is other ways you can just donate your time and help you out, because, Rach, you can't do it all yourself. And Karen, you need people out there giving you a hand, and I'm sure you appreciate anyone who does donate their time and effort. I'm sure they're well appreciated and for helping you.
Every donation is very much appreciated, and every contribution in whatever way it comes by. We definitely appreciate everything, and everything goes 100% to the charity. So
and that's the good thing is sometimes you give $100 to a charity, you don't know where your money goes. And I'm always a big one with animal shelters. We either buy the food or I show people that I've transferred the money there. And with animal shelters, animal shelters run by volunteers. You know the money's going to get used for the thing. And you know that when you've got an organisation like yours that's run by volunteers, you know that your donations are going to be used the way you donated it. If you give, whether you give money or items and that, you know that the stuff's going to go towards the kids. And it's just absolutely fantastic. So anyway, give yourself a pat on the back, you two. You bloody legends. We got.
I think you need to give yourself and your community.
Yeah, thank you for all the amazing work you do.
Done half of what we've done up in North Queensland without you guys, and right across. Your support has been incredible. It really has made a huge difference.
There's more coming, and Karen, as we deliver stuff and whatever, we'll get photos and we'll put it up on the Facebook page, the Mr. Buckaroony Facebook. Karen, I'm sure you'll put it up on the other one. As I said, you've already received some stuff from James.
Yeah, he was amazing.
From Darren, and then we're going to have these kids' suitcases coming from China, from Alibaba, because we can get them at a really good price. And when you're doing stuff for charity, you want to spend your money. People are going to go, oh, you're buying Australian made. When you've got charity money, you want it to go as far as possible. And if it means going to China to buy some cute little tiger and elephant bags, and they're proper little suitcases on wheels and whatever, they're proper things. The sports bags, those NQ bags from Kmart. So we'll get it to you in, as it turns up, Karen, we'll get the stuff to you and we'll put it up on Facebook so everyone knows. And after Sunday afternoon, everyone, Sunday night, I will know exactly down to the cent how much money we've got to spend for Hope in a Suitcase on suitcases, sports bags, and also those nice NQ weekender bags that you said are really, really good for the newborns, because there's pouches there where you can put the nappies in. Newborns, like if you want to buy a box and disposable nappies, there's another thing that they can do. If you're ever in there and you go, I'll buy a box of nappies and drop, I'm sure you've got a lot of bags that go out for newborns, and nappies is probably a big ticket. A lot at the moment. Yeah, a big ticket item. So a box of nappies goes a long way. Think outside the box. And as Rach said, even if it's you see toothpaste on special at the cheap shop, grab a couple and take it to Hope in a Suitcase, everyone. Every little bit helps. Anyway, ladies, thanks for joining in tonight. Bloody
thank you.
Incredible.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Listen to you talk all night about what you've done. You should be very proud. I know everyone here is proud of what you've done. And Rachael, if you ever need an absolute legend of a person will give you the shirt off his back, Bradley Howell here lives in Maitland. And Brad actually was the one who sent me the photo of you with the suitcases. He knows you somehow. But Brad and Mary down there in Maitland, they go out of their way to, if you ever need a hand, we've got a big community down in Newcastle. I told you this last night. We've got a great community, Marky Lavelle, all the New South Wales boys down there. If you ever need anything done, just reach out to me. I'll put the word out, and if we can help, we will. Same as you, Karen. Same as you. And if you need bags to get to Mount Isa, I can always put the call out and see if we can get some bags. If anyone's going to Cape York on a trip, probably not now with the price of diesel.
Or from Townsville to Cairns, we lost our transport there, so that's been a bit of a struggle too. So
yeah, well, I can help out there too when I come down and see Mum. I can always backlog. Remember that trailer of stuff that I brought down? When you're in that me and your husband were nearly dead going up the stair. We did about 85 trips up the stairs, and we were dead by the end of it. That was unbelievable.
Crazy.
Whole trailer load of stuff. My God, that was a job and a half, that one.
It sure was.
Yeah, Brad Howell, he's nailed it there, Bradley. Absolutely. 2 by legends there on the screen. Rachael and Karen. So well done, girls. I'll be in touch. I'll let you know how this charity goes. As I said, the final call for the Mr. Buckaroony and Townsville Chiefs Aussie shirts. We're getting a bit of pride going. Got the old Aussie shirts going, and then we'll know how much money we've got to play with. But it's going to be, once again, like every charity this community gets involved in, we set ourselves the bar there, and we always go over the top of it. We always do better than we hope, because of all the people in the community there. So anyway, thanks again, ladies. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank
And
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
I said we go for an hour. We've gone a quarter of an hour. People would be disappointed with me if I didn't go overtime. So anyway, I might have a quick chat with everyone. Just let them know what's going on Sunday morning.
All right.
Late. I'll let you go. Rachel, thank you so much. And we'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it.
Really great listening to
Karen
you.
too. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
And Karen, you too. I'll be in touch with you and over the next couple of months and let you know when shipments are coming in and when bags are inbound and all that type of stuff as well. So
awesome. No, thank you so much. Really appreciate all your community too.
No, that's all right. Good night now. See ya.
Okay, bye.
I'll just I don't want to kick the guest. I don't want to kick him from the studio. I don't know how to get rid of him now. Kick from studio. Kick from, that's not a nice way of saying it. Kick from studio. There you go. They're gone now. Are you still there, everyone? I'm going to talk for another 2 minutes and then I'll get going too. Thanks for coming on tonight, everyone. How good was it listening to Rachael and her story about how she got Hope in a Suitcase up and running? Just inspirational stuff, isn't it? Inspirational stuff. And as I said, if there were more people like her and Karen in the world would be a better place. Rob the Wanderer, great live feed last night, mate, with Agro. And I was going to say Jamie, not Jamie, Warren, and was. What a really interesting bloke he was. That was a great live feed last night, mate. Well done on that. And no, thanks, Terry. I'm glad you're all tuned in and we got to meet Rachael, the person who got Hope in a Suitcase off the ground. And she came, her parents were foster, and you've seen she had a lot of foster brothers and sisters come through when she was 11 years old, and that gave her the inspiration to start Hope in a Suitcase. So you know the story behind it now, and it's our job to tell our families and friends and get the word out there about Hope in a Suitcase, because the more help they get from the wider community, the more we can help the foster kids. It's a sad world we live in when we've got so many foster kids. Wouldn't it be a nice world if we didn't have foster kids and we didn't have dogs needing homes and all the time? But that's reality, everyone. That's reality. My mum, when she worked at the hospital, she said the drug addict women, they get pregnant, and as soon as they give birth to their baby, it's taken off them by the Department of Child Safety because they're just drug wrecks and they lose their kid. And those little babies have to go out to a foster home. And that's what Karen and Kate and Jess that work at the Townsville Hospital, they take newborn babies in as foster parents. They're incredible people. These foster parents are just incredible people, especially the ones that take on newborn babies, everyone. So just really good people out there. Yeah, I know. Exactly right, Jenny. It's sad that we have so many kids. I'm struggling with that. Yeah, I think we all are. Listening to Rachel's story tonight, it was bloody, you get a lump in your throat listening to that stuff, don't you? You really do. But the shirts. Sally Webb. There you go, the shirts. I'm glad you said that. Here we go. Add to stays. Now, listen here, you diddly donks. If you haven't ordered one yet, get in and order them. You've only got, I'm closing it off after the live feed on Sunday morning if the cyclone hasn't blown me away. No, it's forming up on Sunday, and we'll know what's happening more Sunday, but there'll definitely be a live feed this Sunday morning, next Sunday morning. So I don't know what's going on. There's a dirty big cyclone heading towards the coast. I don't know where it's going to hit yet. There's the shirts, everyone. It's the Mr. Buckaroony on one sleeve and Townsville Chiefs on the other. And it's the Aussie flag polo shirt and the fishing shirts as well. It's got Buckaroony down one sleeve, Townsville Chiefs on the other. Get in and show your Aussie pride. $30 for one, or two or more, $25. So buy a long sleeve and a short sleeve, $25 each. That is cheap as chips, and it'll be about $15 for your express post bag, everyone. Send me an email to p.rogers with a D, RODGERS, p.rogers65@bigpond.com. Get in and order your shirts now. Brad Howell, if you wait till I've sent the list to Russ, and bloody then email me and go, can I order some shirts like you've done twice in a row now? I'm going to get married and knock you clean out. So there it is there. There's the shirts. There's the demo one. So it's got Buckaroony down. Oh, and the fishing shirts look really good. Eh? Got the logo. Southern Cross there. The Union Jack and the Commonwealth Star on that side. Townsville Chiefs down that. What a good talking point that is at the pub. Have a look at the chest on that bloke. It looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He got bloody boxing gloves for fists. Anyway, that's the shirt, everyone. So get in. I'm closing it off after my live feed on Sunday morning. So about midday Sunday, no more orders. And then I've got to collate the list and get it into Russ. So at the moment, everyone, I've got 70 orders through. The last order was from Brucey Creswell. And before that, Tracy Connolly. 154 shirts we've sold so far, everyone. So there's $1,540. And we've had a lot of donations. Brad Owl, I'm going to dob you in. You're one of them. Tracy Lindenberg, you're another. We've had a lot of people donating extra money, which I don't expect everyone. Donate money. Townsville Chiefs are putting $1,000 in, everyone. So that $1,500 there, about $1,100 of that is going to buy 100 of these little suitcases through Alibaba. They're like a little kid's suitcase with the pull-up thing, 2 wheels, and there's about 20 different animal themes, tigers, lions, elephants, and all that for the small kids. And then we're going to put other money towards sports bags for the teenagers. And then those, I've got it here, actually. I've got it here. I'm glad I said that. There you go. There's the Aussie shirts. Get in and order them. There's Gidgy Gorilla and his crew. A few years ago, everyone, those suitcases were chock-a-block full of clothes and toiletries and all that for the kids. And Ken and his helicopter crew down there at Airbus Helicopters did all that. And we had I forget how many suitcases. It was over 100, I think. And they weren't just the suitcases and bags. They were full of gear. Those 4 bags in the front there were made by Crazy Dog. Jace from Crazy Dog Canvas donated those canvas bags in the front there. It was all full of clothes and toiletries for kids, from little kids all the way up to teenagers. It was an incredible effort. We had people all around, Scotty Jennings and Tennille, and just people, Roz's family getting involved in it. It was massive. It was absolutely massive, and I'm just so glad that we can do it again. Now, this one here, there's James. There's James, not Darren. I was going to say Darren. There's James. And they're the bags that Karen said, Buck, those Enco bags at Kmart, $22 ones, they're like a Enco Weekender from Kmart, and they've got nice little zips. And she said they're brilliant bags for the young kids. They've got a separate pouch where you can put nappies and all that type of stuff. So we're going to go to Kmart and buy some of those Enco Weekender bags for Karen. That's Karen said we use a lot of them, Buck. So we're going to buy a heap of those. Russ is getting a heap of sports bags with the Chiefs, Buckaroony, and Hope in a Suitcase logos put on. Russ can get really good sports bags for about $19 delivered, everyone. So that for the teenage, like 16, 17-year-old boys, they get a nice sports bag full of gear. So that's what we're doing. That's what the money's going to, everyone. Those bags, kids' little suitcases through Alibaba, we're ordering 100 of those. So 100 suitcases. I've got a dozen sitting out there in the shed. The stuff there that James has already done, it's going fantastic. So there you go. I'll get rid of that. I'm going to go now. I just wanted to let you know what we're doing. Sunday morning live feed, we'll talk all the normal shit that we normally talk, and then I should be able to, after that, take last orders for the shirts and then come up on Facebook and let you know exactly how much money. I'll take out the money that I've got to pay Russ for the shirts. I'll take out the money for the postage. How many? I've got 70 orders so far. So there's 70 express post bags, and I take the money off that, and then whatever money's left over is what we put towards buying bags for Openness. And it's going to be thousands of dollars, everyone. It's going to be thousands. it's going to be thousands of dollars that we've got to put towards bags. We might get more than 100 of those little suitcases through Alibaba. $21 for a beautiful little suitcase with an elephant on it and, you know, all that. So anyway, good night, everyone. I know some of you have got to go to work tomorrow, burn $50 worth of diesel, getting to work in the morning. Keep your chins up. Tune in Sunday morning for the live feed with a coffee. Speaking of which, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea in a minute. Thanks for tuning in tonight. It was a special one, wasn't it? It really was. Rachael and Karen, really good to have them on. Let's hit 200 shirts here. Come on, guys. We're up to 154. 46 to go. Come on. Let your mates know about it. Let your family. If you haven't ordered one now, get in there. They're $25 each if you order 2 or more. $25 for a good shirt, Aussie shirt. You won't get a bloody fishing shirt or a polo shirt for $25 anywhere else. They're pretty good quality too, let me tell you. Anyone who got the Fisherman Fecky shirts, they're from the same manufacturer, everyone. So there you go. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bloody really good night. Good night, Lukey Reed. Molly's extended her stay in Tasmania, everyone. So Lukey's got a chance of still catching Molly down there in Tasmania. Hopefully you do. Lukey's already got a number plate memorised. He knows what a number plate is. Well done, Buck. Great work as always. No, that's all right, Rob. And well done to you last night, mate. That was a good live feed. Something a bit different, eh? Agro one night and a really good charity. I hope you probably all knew about Hope in a Suitcase, but I think we all learned a bit tonight. I didn't know Rachel's story, everyone. I've never spoken to Rachael before, except on Messenger. I've never seen her before. So listening to her story tonight was inspirational. It really was. So I'm glad we all got something out of that. Good night. See you. Mr. Bullet, you cranky old bugger. Start the live feed later. All the Victorians are already asleep and snoring, mate. They're all going off because I started it too late. I had to start it late tonight, everyone, because Rachael and Karen have got young foster kids that they need to get to bed, and they couldn't do it any earlier. That's why the late live feed tonight. Okay, there was a reason behind me starting late tonight. But anyway, it was worth it, I reckon. Good night, Jenny, Lynn. See you later, Mr. Bullet. Don't ring me after this, Mr. Bullet. I'll be busy doing something else. Soon as I get off a live feed, ring, Mr. Bullet from West Aussie. Wanting to ring up and get up me about something. Anyway, good night. Jimmy Four, there he is, the legend himself. Hawksy, how are you, mate? And me and Russ, there he is, the man himself who donated the bags and has already delivered the mate. Fantastic effort. $600 out of your own pocket, mate. Bloody legend. Really good thing. And me and Russ will catch up with you for a coffee down on the Strand, mate. Our shout for a coffee when we'll come down to Townsville, and hopefully we can catch up on the Strand, get to meet you, mate, in person, and shake your hand and thank you for what you did for Hope in a Suitcase, mate. So bloody legend. All right, good night, everyone. I'm pissing off now. See you on Sunday morning. Tune in Sunday morning, eh? We'll have a chat about that inspirational speech at 6 o'clock tonight from our fearless leader. I'll never get those 10 minutes back, ever. See you later. Bye.